silly girl leaves us today, Miss Fiona. Good sit, sweetie, good sit. I feel half the time she spends on her back 2 legs jumping. So we definitely worked on that. But the main reason why she was here is to help with her leash walking, because she lunges, barks, and pulls when she sees other dogs on leash, but also curious about the social dynamic of her around other dogs, because she is possessive of things at home and also steals things from another dog at home, always. She doesn't let the other dog play. I have not had any problems at all with her around toys or other dogs here. So I really feel it's a dynamic at home. We definitely worked on Leave It and sharing with other dogs, but she's absolutely okay here. So it's a dynamic that is at home. Now, if she's not being snappy, possessive, I wouldn't worry about it too much. If she does seem to be aggressive and snaps at Benny, the other dog at home, then I would take the toys away. What I would definitely do is give Benny, the other dog, opportunity to have toys by himself uninterrupted. So have some alone time. But I really do not feel there's a way. See, right now she's just playing tug with Bruno, but it's in a fun way. But there's really not a way unless you're home all the time and you can control her not taking things away from the other dog, and it's not aggressive, then she got a little snappy at the puppy there, but you can see she's playing fine with Benny. But there's not a real way that you can control her keeping toys away. Okay, so there. I'm going to take the toy away and not let her have it, because there she was a little snappy at the other dog. But again, unless you're home all the time and can control this, she's not going to just leave the toy for the other dog to her own devices. So it's more about managing the situation and not feeling bad that she takes toys from Benny. If he doesn't mind it, then, and he gets time with toys on his own, then that's the dynamic between the dogs. But you're going to be fighting a losing battle if, see, she's playing fine with Bruno right now. Good girl, Fiona. Good girl. And so you see how Bruno goes back after the toy. And if Benny does not do that, then there's no way that you can have Fiona just leave the toy alone. Okay, so as long as she's not being aggressive. She was a little snappy at the puppy there. Fiona. Good girl. She was a little aggressive towards the puppy with a bigger snap, but it was not intent to hurt. It was just saying that this is mine. But for me, I can take the toy away no problem, and that's a really important thing. Good girl. Okay, Benny, you want it? Good girl, Fiona. Good girl. Good girl. So we had So Fiona's parents, another thing that I really was focusing on with her is responding to my requests right away. Can you stay? Responding to my requests right away instead of me having to say sit 3 times before she actually did it, or me having to change my body language for her to actually respond to my requests. So I really focused on asking what I wanted one time and waiting for her to do it. And now she's to the point that she will respond right away to your requests, but it's very, very important that you continue expecting that, because if you give in to asking her multiple times, she will go ahead and expect you to say it multiple times before she actually does it. So with my basic requests were sit, down, leave it, go spot, and stay. She's doing all of those right away. To help prevent her jumping, I'm really working on sit for everything. I'll even walk around the house and randomly ask her to sit. On our walks, I will randomly ask her to sit. This is so that she can actually hear the word sit, even if she's in a heightened state of arousal. Okay, Fiona, leave it. Good, leave it. Good, leave it. You want her to leave objects alone. I find she's a very big chewer, so I made sure she had plenty of chewies, but when it came to high reward chewies, like right now I have a cow hoof, or this is some type of nylabone, I would give that to her in her crate, so she didn't have an opportunity to be possessive over those objects around other dogs. I think that's important in general, just not for Fiona, but for anybody. So with the dynamics that you're having with you and Benny, or Fiona and Benny at home, I would give those really special chewies or toys as the dogs are separated. And Fiona loves her crate, so it's fantastic. I just asked her to go to her bed, and she goes to her bed right away, and she gets a treat, and then she gets a chewy, and she absolutely loves that. So that will be good for her. Okay, we've been working a lot on the downstairs. Fiona. Hi, sweetie. Okay, Fiona, go spot. Good girl, stay. I know you know go spot very well because of Benny and his past training, but I really worked on it with Fiona. Good spot. This is where she goes to her spot and stays until we release her. So I worked a lot on the spots. And I love these raised beds because it gives the dogs very clear distinction of that's your spot. So you could get 2 raised beds for her and Benny, and you can make it a very clear distinction between the 2 of them. Good stay, sweetie, of going to their spots. Good girl, sweetheart. So go spot is still a really good one to work on impulse control and calm behavior. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, Fiona, come. Good, come. Coming when called is always very important. Hi, Akela. Hi, Fiona. So the dogs would be playing in the back, and I'd be in the house, and I'd randomly ask them to come. Good puppies. Good puppies. Try not get them to follow me all over the place. But you want to work on your recalls all the time. So her and Benny are outside playing. Fiona, hey, let's go. Good. No, you don't want to leave me? Good, come. Good, come. If her and Benny are outside playing. Good, come. I didn't forget about your little one. You can randomly ask them to come. Okay, sit. Good sit. So I had to wait her out on that one, but she has a lot of her friends here. Stay. Stay. Good, stay. Good. Come. Good, come. You got it. Good, come. Good, come. Good, come, puppies. Set them up for success. Excuse me, little one, no jumping. Good. And call them to come. But again, they'll be playing in the backyard, distracted. Right now they're excited to be by me. Let's go get it, get it. I guess I'll demonstrate on Akela. Akela, come. They'll be distracted, playing, and I'll call them. Good, come. You just followed me around, little missy. Good, come. Good, come. Good, come. Okay, so the biggest reason why Fiona was here is to work on her leash walking. She pulls and barks and goes crazy when she sees other dogs on leash, or she's just not a very good leash walker in general. So I'm going to let you know what has helped me immensely with Fiona and her leash walking. First of all, I use this training tool called the Gentle Leader, and it goes around her muzzle. Here, sweetie. And where the head goes, sorry, where the head goes, the body goes. So the Gentle Leader has been very, very, very beneficial for her. I also use the clicker. The clicker is a reward marker. It marks the moment in time she is doing something correctly. So when we're walking and it's calm behavior, I click and reward, click and reward. I have two types of treats here, actually 3 types of treats. I have some pepperoni and I have some cheese. Now, when there's another dog around, I bring out the cheese, or, excuse you, I bring out the cheese or other high reward treat for her. But I find that she definitely likes the cheese. Now she's been very, very good with me. I think one, I've been walking her by herself and not with Benny. So I think that dynamic really, really helps. And 2, right when she got here from the get-go, I did not allow her to make any mistakes. So I kept her, I was very, very consistent. I made the walks short, sweet, and positive. Now, in addition to being very consistent, having the right equipment, what else I would do when I saw another dog is I would click and reward with high value treats. If she looked at the other dog, I clicked and rewarded her not reacting to the other dog. And anytime I'm walking, she looks funny on camera. Anytime I'm walking, I am very, very aware of what's around me so that I could put appropriate distance between me and another dog, or maybe go between a car if another dog was coming. But I was very consistent with setting her up for success. And as I was understanding her more, again, I only had her for 2 weeks, as I was understanding her more and how she was going to react outside, I would add more distractions. I would walk by the houses that I knew the dogs were going to bark behind the fence. What I'm going to have you do when you get home, and this is going to be written out in Fiona's owner's manual, is you're going to walk Fiona by herself, not with Benny, okay? Walk her by herself, off hours, so where you don't think you're going to see other dogs, just so that you can work with her on the Gentle Leader, the clicker, and maneuvering her. So with leash walking, I did a lot of left-hand turns. So she was on my left-hand side and I turned to the left. So I cut her off from going in front of me, and I'll demonstrate that in just a minute. What else do I want you to do? I want you to bring high reward treats and the clicker, probably for, I would say for at least 10 days, do that without Benny, off hours. Then what I'd like you to try doing after day 10 is then going for a walk where you know there might be other dogs so that you can see her reaction. Hopefully she won't have a reaction and she will be doing as well as she's doing with me. But if she does, you're going to be able to, that's going to give us information such as, okay, she's not ready to walk with Benny, or she has to walk with us off hours a little bit more. Once she's responding well, then I want you to take her and Benny out together off hours where you know there's not going to be other dogs, or you know you can put distance between you and the other dogs. Set her up for success. Really important. And then we'll see how she does. I tested it to see how she would be with another dog, and she was doing pretty well. In fact, the other dog was a little more alert and pulling on their leash when they saw another dog, and she wasn't as reactive. So I was very surprised to see that and happy to see that. So I'll demonstrate loose leash walking now. Good girl, Fiona. So I sent a couple videos of how she was doing in the last couple days, so I'll add that to the video here. It's always hard for me to train, hold the camera, and talk at the same time, so bear with me. But I'm using the clicker and treats, and when she looks at me, I'm rewarding her for paying attention to me. I'm using pepperoni at this time to help prevent her from walking in front of me. I found the most beneficial turn for her is the left-hand turn. So cut her off from walking. She's very enthusiastic of where she wants to go. So I try to have her be on my pace. Good girl, Fiona. Good girl. Now, if I happen to see another dog coming, we still saw the dogs either across the street, or I would let other dogs pass, but I would put space in between us. So I might go up somebody's driveway. Good girl. And click and reward her for paying attention to me when the dog passes by. But the most important thing is that you work under her threshold and you set her up for success. So right now, because she was pulling on her leash in general, that's where we need to start, is just her being a good leash walker and you understanding how to have her follow you. And go off hours, walk off hours to set her up for success. To prevent her from pulling and barking at other dogs. I do allow her to sniff. So other things that we would do on our walks. Fiona, sit. Good girl. I would ask her to sit. Fiona, place. I would ask her to place. So you know place well, which is where she walks around, comes to your left-hand side, and then sits. Good place. Good girl. Good girl. Good. Stay. Also work on stay a little bit. Good stay. Good girl, puppy. Good stay. Good stay. He's my good girl. Good girl. I wanted to show you this because there's these two dogs barking at her. That's my good girl. And look at her. Looking for the goodies. Good girl. That's my good Fiona. Who's my good girl? That's my good girl. So now I have proof. So that's my good girl. Good Fiona. That's a good girl. See how she's looking at me though? Even though those two are over there. Yes, that's my good girl. Oh, okay, I gotta feed her cheese. Point out here is my placement of reinforcement when I reward Fiona. It's a little bit past my leg. If it's up a little bit, then she's being rewarded for being ahead of me a little bit, where I want her to be right next to me. So when walking, your placement of reinforcement is really important and something that you should look at if you're using treats. I'm a big believer in treats while training. So in this, I want you to concentrate where the treats are, just a little bit behind you. Okay? Good girl, Fiona. Sit. Good. So I'm pleased with Fiona's overall progress. I think you being able to take her for a walk is going to be a huge relief for you guys. All that you had mentioned that you want me to work on in regards to possessiveness and stealing things from Benny, and even her walking when she's with Benny, is a dynamic between her and the other dog. So I know that you want Benny to have other toys. I know you don't want her to steal the toys from Benny, but as long as he has some alone time with toys on his own and Chewy's on his own, that's okay. If you're the one that has to keep redirecting the dog, she's not going to do it on her own, because it's been since she's been a puppy. So it can just be the dynamic between her and Benny. So continue expecting her to do things when you ask her to right away, and the exercise is really important. And just know that I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, I am here for you always. Always, always, always. Thanks for the opportunity to work with Fiona. And always Benny. I've always had so much fun with Benny. Thank you.